Hey, what's up, folks? I guess it's time for another long video. Please don't hate me for that. As you may have noticed, there's been, in the past few months, a proliferation of different Emacs packages to work with LLM tools. And in the last video, I had a long conversation with author of GPTel. And GPTel is great. It's amazing for writing, for research, but it's really not a coding assistant. And recently, like probably many of you, I've been trying different code assistant things like Claude Code and such. And one of the most interesting and nice packages out there is ECA or ECA, Editor Code Assistant. And if you're not very new to Emacs, you definitely heard or used the tools with the same person behind them. His name is Eric Dallo. He's an amazing software developer from Brazil. I've known Eric for years, and only recently I had a privilege to meet him in person at the conference at Clojure Conch. There he did a really nice presentation. Conch talks are not publicly available yet. Once they're out, I will definitely add a link to the description to this video. And make sure to watch that one. And before we get to it, I really want to apologize for the quality of the sound. I tried my best to smooth it out. It's still not great, and I'm really sorry about that. We actually spent like first 20 minutes trying to like test our setup. We had some issues with Zoom. The screencasting didn't work. Zoom is horrible in Linux. Sometimes it's just impossible. We had to switch to Google Meet. We tested the sound and the video quality. Our small recorded sample recorded normally. We confidently started rolling, and only later I realized that the sound got butchered with such an impossible reverb and some bad echo. And really, I promise I will try. I will try better next time. Oh, with that, here's my conversation with Eric Dallo. Hope you enjoy it. My name is Ag, and you're watching Emacs Propaganda. Hello. Today we have with us awesome, legendary Eric Dallo. He is the author of Clojure LSP, maintainer of LSP modes, Emacs LSP, a bunch of other things. I know you've done like Dart things, and we are today. I hope we'll be talking about ECA or ECA, how you call it. So Eric, can you spend like a few minutes talking about yourself? All right, Eric.
Hi, Luigi. Yeah, sure. So my name is Eric Dallo. I live in Brazil. I work at Nubank and mainly working with Clojure. And right now I'm working in a developer tools team, and it's something that I always have had a passion. So all the projects I have and I contribute with the open source are mostly related with dev tooling. So it's something that I'm always trying to improve, especially for the Clojure community.
Oh yeah, awesome. Hey, tell me the little trivia. I know some people call you Greg. Like this Greg, where did it come from?
Yeah, it's funny. It came from my first company, the first company I worked at. So I was like the trainee there, and then somewhere just got confused about my name. So they were in a daily, and they were, oh, I'm working with the new guy in the project. What is the name of the project? Then he looked at me and saying, what is the name? And then I heard, what's your name? And then I say, oh, it was aggregator. It was the project that we were working. And then everybody just laughed and just said, my name is gonna be Greg. And then those people's worked with me in next companies. So actually Greg is my company name. So people that know me from companies that usually call me Greg. There are a lot of people that even don't know my name is Eric, so it's funny.
Oh, okay. All right. So we're talking about ECA, or I know you like to call it ECA, and why is that?
Yeah. So here in Brazil, ECA is the same thing like you
Okay.
in English. So I just found it was a funny like pronunciation of the name. But ECA or ECA or ECA both works. They stand for Editor Code Assistant. So it just I took some prompts with AI to find this name. Like what is a good catchy name or something. So
Yeah, I mean, like we have a habit of making names that people confuse about Magit, or just Magit, but Magit. Right, and all right, let's see what it is about. Let's
yeah, sure. I can share the screen like the front page of ECA. So
yeah, that would be good.
I share just the Chrome tab because I think it would be easier because I can see what I see. So here is the ECA page. So what is ECA? I found myself in the middle of the year like trying to work with AI. I was using GPT all the time in my browsers, but like yeah.
I think no, I think it's improving the quality. I like once we switch to Emacs, it's kind of a little fuzzy on my end, but it's still readable.
I can share the whole screen if you want.
Uh, no, it should be fine. I mean, like the once we get to Emacs, that probably will be better.
And I will share the desktop. So I found myself like wondering how can I use this AI capabilities like competing with GPT in like Emacs because like UEG I love Emacs and we want to make to use everything in Emacs like be fast and have shortcuts for everything. So I knew there was GPL and other options, but I always felt the need to have a good UX like my coworkers because at that time most Nubank users were using Cursor. So Cursor has a really nice UI. It's like based on VS Code. So they knew what they were doing at that time, and it was just edgy the UX, you know.
Right,
So,
right. I agree.
I just felt like okay, we do have like modern stuff on Emacs. We do have like LSP, which was like a big deal for Emacs at the time. Like it was really different and took some years to like people adopt and understand the power of LSP. And I didn't want to take so long to have the same thing for AI and Emacs. So I just had a lot of experience with coding a Lisp. So I had some other packages like LSP Art, which was my first Emacs package, and I learned a lot about overlays and complex stuff on Emacs. And other things like LSP mode and other things that I worked and helped me understand better Emacs. But then I realized that maybe Emacs was just one of the files that could use this power, right? Like there were other problems at that time, like people were using Cursor, some other WinSurf, and then we have like tools on the CLI. So there are so many options, and I found this missed opportunity of having like a protocol or something that integrates multiple editors, you know. So that was the idea of it. I took some weeks like exploring this idea, like understand how we can have like the same UX and the same thing for different editors. So we have like mostly IntelliJ, VS Code, Emacs, and Vim. And you can see like the UI is pretty similar, the same features live on all those editors. So the way I found this work was to create like a standardized protocol. You know?
They're good.
Yeah.
Very nice. So the idea is great. I mean, I might not be seeing the fuller picture. Tell me about like you don't personally use VS Code, as I understand, right?
Sure. Yeah, it's funny because I use Emacs for coding everything. Like I'm coding right now. I'm coding as a hobby a Godot project, which is a game development engine, and I'm using Emacs to code. In it, I use to code TypeScript in Java. So I try to use Emacs for everything.
Yeah.
But I do know how to use other editors because I need to test with my developer tools, right? So before Emacs, I used Alva like 6 years ago or something. So I know how VS Code works, and I test it like a lot. I think IntelliJ as well because I have like the Clojure MCP IntelliJ keys. So I have some experience how those editors work and how to code on them. And so, but my personal option is Emacs.
So I know you've if I remember right, you did like certain things for IntelliJ as well. You I suppose you used it for some prolonged time. Is that true?
Not really. Like I don't use it to personal codes, like getting my daily work or like personal hobbies, but I do code it as a product, like something that like tool supports. Sometimes I try, okay, today I'm gonna use IntelliJ just to try testing if my stuff is working. So I do this all the time, but I don't use it regularly. Yeah.
So the reason I'm asking because I used IntelliJ to the to the fault. I used it for a number of years, or like almost 10 years, and I used it. So it's such a good IDE. It's a really nice software product, and it's the reason why it took me a long time to switch to Emacs, because even I knew, like, I found like certain interesting things in Emacs. I was afraid that leaving IntelliJ will leave me like forever in this like two worlds, where like I was afraid that I'm not gonna find the things in Emacs that I will miss from IntelliJ, but I was so wrong. Anyway, let's keep going. Let's get into the Echo world.
Yeah, for sure. So yeah, the rationale was I like to show this image because it's easier for people to get it, because it's so similar to the image I have for Clojure MCP ideas. So it's the idea of having a server, so like a program that runs on your local machine, and then we have like a client, which are the editors, and we have like which are supposed to be on the LSP, like the servers is actually like the elements, right? So that like makes this connection in and offer the features to like provide the same interface for different AIs. Of course, it's not so simple like to just change a request, because mostly LLMs have different AIs and different features and different ways to respond to some requests, especially with this training. So the adapter layer is pretty heavy. Like it's like there's a lot of things to do here, especially like the tool calling stuff, which I can actually have I can show you later, but I have some diagrams here in the protocol. Yeah, here's the protocol. So it's a very extensive doc. I tried, like I mentioned, inspired a lot by the ECA protocol. Oh, I'm not sure.
No,
Yeah, so this is the protocol. You can see it's pretty inspired by ECA protocol. It's the same idea, but has some crazy diagrams. And you can see like all the requests and response specs to really offer those features. So for example, let's try to check, we have like the rewrite feature. So this is a request from the client, so the client needs to like fill those things, like the text that the user are selecting, the prompt that the user sent, and then this goes to the server, and server responds like with the status, and then is something may receive another notification from the server. So the specifications, like I learned a lot with Clojure MCP on those years, especially how editors behave with file paths and like a lot of things that we also learned during those years. And I just try to apply this to the same idea of ECA. And one day you may ask, you actually received this question a lot, like, why don't you use LSP to offer all those things, right? It was something that I consider, like, why not just create an AI LSP or something? The problem is the LSP spec is really specific to editor features, and it tries to be agnostic, and there is no AI stuff on the spec. So it was pretty hard to like, mostly 10% of the spec would be used, and I would need to like create 90% like useful stuff. So I realized that it was just easier to create a protocol, especially because there are no, it doesn't make sense to have many ECA servers. There is only one that has this logic, so it was just easier to go with that approach.
Right. Yeah. I see. Yeah. I mean, like, I was so surprised. I didn't even read the docs, to be honest, because from my work computer, which I wanted to try, my local computer, has no problem with that. But my work computer, for some reason, they have like the
the domain is just like seen as like something like, you know, potentially malicious or something, like whatever, they flagged it or whatever. I just couldn't access the docs, but I was surprised how easy it actually installed. And the docs are available on GitHub, right, in the repo. But I really didn't have to read through them. I just like went through the installation steps. I installed the server part and added the package, and it's been very smooth since then. I don't even have like and I've tried like multiple different packages, because Claude Code, for example, like Claude Code Experience, even it's in terminal, it's really nice, it's really good, but I don't want to be in terminal. And if I run it in terminal inside Emacs, it's also kind of choppy. It's because it's like, you know, I tried doing it in vterm, and yeah, it's not like, it feels like something like out there. But my experience with ECA in Emacs was really nice.
Yeah, that's really nice to hear. I think that was the main point that I was trying to focus. Like, CLI are cool until you need to like do things on your editor, right? Like how you would, for example, provide a feature like this one, which is you select a bunch of codes that you're coding, you're seeing your code. You just want to select and say, and ask something to AI, like change this function. Or like sometimes you don't want to like do a whole shot. You just want to like do an auto-completion of the map that you are just typing. So it's just faster, you know. So it's just convenient to have those features integration. And there are a lot of many other cases. Like, for example, if you are on the editor, you have access to LSP, right?
Mm-hmm.
So ECA Code, for example, and uses like the diagnostics of LSP. So, for example, errors in your editor to know what needs to be fixed. So that's a lot. That's like whole integration. And although some CLI tools like Cloud have those options, it's not as native and as smooth, you know. So there are a lot of other things that we could get from the editors as well.
Right. I mean, Emacs is so like the power of Emacs that it has like gives you like almost complete control over text, and code is just structured text, nothing more, right?
Yeah,
really good.
Another thing is like for the LLM, like context is like the main thing. Like what you provide to the LLM is really what is gonna happen to the output quality of the LLM. So another thing what we can do with the editor is like have context about what the user is saying. So for example, you I think, I don't know if I have like a screenshot of this, but you have like the cursor context, which is just let me check. It's just something that keeps like here because it checks where your cursor is pointing, right?
Mm-hmm.
So when you ask something to the LLM, it knows where is your cursor in your file, so it knows what you are mentioning. So this was something that I saw on cursor, and it was really good. Like I wanted the same behavior, like just give awareness to the LLM about what I'm talking about, you know, without the need to like specify everything. At the same time, we have like completely control about it. Like you can just remove it, include your own context and whatever. So, yeah.
All right. There are like let's see. We have context. We have like hooks. Let's talk about hooks. What before after specific event? What would be like the practical example of a hook?
Yeah. I think hooks are something that the community is like, the AI community is like understanding right now.
Just to avoid confusion, these are not like related to Emacs hooks, right? Like these are not standard or custom Emacs.
So like ECA server tries to be agnostic of editors, so it knows it's related to an editor, but not what editor, right? Mm-hmm. So those are things that you can configure on the server side, basically on a configuration JSON file, and everything is gonna work the same thing for any editor, you know. So the hooks are just like specific events that you can just plug some kind of code and run this. So for example, I have two routes in my personal configuration, which is notify. So I can sometimes I just ask something to the AI and go do some other stuff, like go to the browser, or you know, I just go play guitar like on my side. So suddenly it will trigger the root to then notify me that the prompt is stopped. Like EI is waiting for your input to like agree or approve a new call or just finish it. So, and there are so many other things that you can do with hooks. Like, for example, we have like the pre-request hook, which is a hook that you can just inject more context to the LLM. So there are things like you can create a route to show a voided call to run, like rejected to call if it matches specific arguments or to call name and things like that. So it's pretty powerful, and it's actually something that the new Clojure MCP Lite is being built, like based on hooks. So it's something really, really nice.
Oh, it's the Bruce Harmon project, right? Clojure MCP and Clojure MCP Lite. Did you help them out for like any of them to like, because you still write Clojure, right? For work and like for personal matters. Did you hook them up for to work with ECA?
Actually, I use Clojure MCP to like code Clojure stuff. And Bruce is actually it's aware about ECA and helping a lot like with some integrations. So a good example of that is like ECA is the only tool that can show a diff of a Clojure MCP change. So the thing is, when a Clojure MCP do a change in a tool specific, it has a specific like find and replace thing inside it. So the AI clients like Cloud, Cursor, they don't know about Clojure MCP, so they don't know how to show the diff in the editor or in the CLI about the file that is gonna be changed. They know how to do this for the native stuff, like the native tool calls, but not for the MCP calls like Clojure MCP. So ECA is so extensible that we can like say that for this specific tool of Clojure MCP, you should show the diff like that. So it's pretty easy to add those kind of things. So when you do a change via Clojure MCP, you can see like the diff, really good, nice diff on your editor. So it's something really nice, I would say.
I see. All right. I am tempted to ask you, like, would you show us your personal like tweaks, your personal like customizations on top of the because I mean like I suppose it's you make it in a way that it's like generally like for anybody can use, but I understand that you have your own like preferences for the keys and stuff.
Yeah, sure. Actually, my configuration is on my dot files, so I have my dot files like with my whole operation system. And one of the things that I have here is like my ECA config, so you can just take a look at. But I use it for a lot of testing stuff. So you see like a lot of commented codes for testing like different MCP servers and things like that. But I think that the main things I can share are like the providers configuration, for example. So I have like Nubank specific provider configuration get from my Envy, so I can have access to our internal Light LLM server. I have like other providers like OpenRouter with some models that I configure, GitHub Copilot and stuff. I have some.
You know, it's funny. I never had to like. I don't know. I've been using ECA for just like not too long. I never had to actually go and edit this file.
Yeah, I would say that the something that I learned a lot with Clojure is like you should make a good default configuration, you know. And I would say I'm pretty happy with the way we did the configuration for ECA because I think it's worth it to mention how that works. So we have like the wait a second. So if we go to the ECA repository, we'll have like a config namespace, and this is a waterfall of configuration. So you can see that basically we have like the base configuration. This is like the default. So you can see like this is the default that goes for everyone. And there is a lot of things going on here, but like I mentioned, it's a pretty good default. Like the providers that we know, for example, OpenAI, if it's available, like found a key, so we provide it. And same thing for other providers. We have like some default behaviors like agent and plan, which like it's another huge feature of ECA. We have like some default to a call approval. So there's a lot of default stuff, and we just merge those things, deep merge with other configuration. For example, if user wants to have a InVivar configuration, then we'll just merge this, and then with a local config file. So if user has like an .eca config JSON file in its repository, or for example, with global configuration, which is the one I showed, right? Personal configuration. So there's so many options, and this is a really flexible way to like have a good default with options to change those things. So it took me a little bit to like find this ECA space, and me and other people that are maintaining ECA with me are finding really useful. So this is another plus of ECA, I would say. It's like completely open, transparent, and easy to extend, especially with Clojure, like extend, like make it more configurable.
So let me ask you, like with Clojure LSP, even though I don't remember ever having to do this, but I know there are like certain things that you do it from command line. You don't have to do it from the editor. Are there like things that you can call ECA server just from command line because it's a CLI tool, right?
Right now there is not, but it's something that I'm planning for the future. Like it's the same thing I did for Clojure LSP, like Clojure LSP, it's so good. It has everything inside it that it was pretty easy to create a layer, like a CLI layer, to just call those stuff. And we have like a linter, for example.
Mm-hmm.
So at Nubank, like more than 2,000 services, we have Clojure LSP as the official linter. So we just call a single command and we have like diagnostics, formatting, and everything. So it was pretty convenient to have this like layer. And I would say that for ECA, there's already open issues to have more front ends. For ECA, for example, we could have like ECA Desktop, which is just a desktop application using the same features. We could have like ECA Browser, which is the same thing. And ECA CLI is just completely possible. Like I would say it's easier than Clojure LSP because the API was already designed to be like pluggable with front end stuff.
Very nice.
So yeah, there's so many exciting things to do.
I like products that allow you to have like a way to talk to them, right? Like even I mean like I would talk to them from Emacs, of course. Why wouldn't I? But sometimes you want to talk from different things, right? Like if I can call something from a Lua script that is running in the context of my video player, why not? Right? So this is very nice.
Something that I really like for those CLIs is like the doctor option to like debug and understand if something's working. So it's something that I really intend to add to ECA. It's an example of really easy thing, right?
Nice. And I like that ECA is entirely written in Clojure, which the myth that you don't write CLI apps with Clojure, which was like historically been true for some time, but like it's no longer. It's so easy today. Like it's relatively simple to write CLI apps with Clojure.
I think this was a learn from Clojure LSP as well. Like with GraalVM Power to compile to native stuff, it was pretty easy to have something work. Like it really took me 1 or 2 days to have already a base Clojure server running, receiving JSON requests and responding like Clojure LSP. So this was pretty easy, and then I just focused on the heavy stuff, which was like the AI interaction and sending specific messages and receiving. So this is already really good for Clojure.
Awesome. Yeah. So what's next? Will you show us some Emacs?
Yeah, I think we can share how it will look like.
Yeah, that would be.
Let me share my screen. Okay, so
all right, this is nice. So we're looking at the ECA changelog on the left side. On the right side, we are looking at
the. I was just doing some tests with a new feature that I just implemented, which was the rollback. I can't even show you how it works, but
yeah, it's a brand new feature that you just released.
Feature, and I just released it like today. The feature to rollback file changes. So I can just give you an example. I was actually testing, so there is a permission to find a bug right here, but I think that's okay. So for example, I can just meta X and type ECA, and that will just start ECA for me. I have shortcuts for that. Actually, I will start again to just like see how it works. I have the JVM running, so it's a little bit slower because I use it for debugging, but the GraalVM is pretty fast. So I have like here the shots, which is the shot is the main feature of ECA, but you have other things like autocomplete and rewrite stuff. And here we have like a message, like an intro message explains some things. You have like what we call the prompt section with the context. You have the header line we use to show like the model, the behavior, and MCPs. They are actually clickable. So for example, if I click on the model, I can just select another model from the ones I have. Or for example, behaviors, you can use like a lot of shortcuts for those things. We have like the MCPs. So if I click, I can just see like the MCP servers that are running. I have like the ECA. It's not really an MCP, but it's like the native tools that come from ECA. So you can see the tools that it has. And it actually depends on the behavior that you're using. I actually have a Nubank MCP here. You can see. And going back to the chat, we have more features. Like we have the contacts and we have the prompts. So I can just send anything here. So for example, hello there. And then the LLM will just output. We start to like streaming the response. Here we can see that those are expandable blocks. It took me a lot to make those things working with Emacs.
And that's the gist with what we heard. That's the notification, right? Like the click you have. Yes.
Yeah. Notification. I can actually show my complete. Let me try to find it. So this notification you heard was this. What is it? Yeah, this hook right here. So I have a notify finish, which happens on the post request. So after approach is finished, I'm just saying that it's visible false because I don't want to pollute my chat. And I have an action to call this specific comment that for my Linux that will just trigger this out. So you can just configure it whatever you want.
All right. I'm going to use this feature. I'm going to put like a sound, like remember, like, when kids, they're like, sitting on the toilet and then like, mommy, I'm done. I'm going to put something like that. Mommy, I'm done. Daddy, I'm done.
It works perfectly. Yeah. So yeah, those are the expandable blocks. So we have like the reasoning, we have options to roll back, which is the new thing I mentioned. I will show you. But before that, there is some things that happen here. Actually, I'll just do it again because I want to show you, since I'm using a Nubank model, we don't have like costs and things like that.
Oh, yes.
It's my personal unchopped one just to show those things. So I send the same hello message, and then we'll see like a text right here is like the shot title. So async ECA just did another request asking to title for this chat based on the prompt of the user, and just we have like here we have like the costs. So we have like a section saying how many tokens this section is costing. So all those things like with the reasoning and like the stuff and like the cursor and things look like 7,000 tokens, and we have like a max window of 200,000. Okay. And this is like the cost of the overall conversation.
That is one of the features I like the most, because I get like carried away and like and like I get like, oh, you got billed from Anthropic, and I'm like, oh, like what did I do?
Yeah, the good thing is if you use the subscription like me, this value is not really true because you are inside the subscription. But it's nice to know like how much you are like avoiding to waste because you are using the subscription.
Right.
Like I mentioned, we have like the context you can add. So for example, I can just type here and autocomplete and then a context, for example. And we can see that we have like the cursor one, which is like a default that follows your cursor. So if I'm another file, it's just updated and sent to the LLM. So one thing that I really like from Mac is like you can debug all those things and understand what's going on. So for example, we have like comments. If you type / you can see like comments that you can send. You can even create custom comments like these link fix that I created. And one that I like a lot, at least for debugging, is my prompt show. So I can just send it, for example, and it's asking for a default. So hello there. So I will just send this, and what I'm saying here is like the whole thing that's going on to the LLM. So you can see that these are the instructions that goes to the LM. So we say you are ECA, you are a coding AI coding assistant, you are pair programming with the user, blah blah blah. So you are in the agent behavior, so you should behave like that. How you should edit, communication, do the two calls, and then we have like the context section. So this context is like everything that the user is using as context. So for example, we do have like agent files on the repo. So if I open agent files, I see this file. So you can see that it's included here. And we do have like the cursor, the edge cursor.
Mhm.
So you can see like, oh, the user is on this path. This start line is, the start region is this one, and the end is this one. So it's a pretty nice way to tell LLM how user is behaving on the editor. So for example, we have like workspaces, we have like and we have the prompts. So for example, if I start a new conversation here and just type what do you see, the LLM will probably get the context about the cursor, understand the user mentions about this file. So you can see, based on the context I have, I can see your workspace, your agents, and your cursor position. So for example, if I hover over this and ask how this function works, it will already know that it's related to the delete chat. So it's actually reading the file because it only has like the file and the line. So and then understand that is the rollback based on the read plus the context, right? So these are the two calls that I mentioned. So you can just expand it and see like the context, the output of the two call, and the arguments that the LLM just passed. So it's a pretty nice thing.
Very nice, very nice. And like zero mouse clicking. Just
Yeah, no mouse clicking. That's a nice thing. You can actually, there's so many things on the Emacs specifically, like you can just jump between the two calls with Control-C up, and the expandable things, you can just toggle them automatically. You can actually, I think there's a transient menu. Let me find it. Yeah, right here.
Oh,
So
what is
if you
that?
have Control-C dots, you can see like
Wow.
a lot of things that you can do. There are some hidden gems, I would say. For example,
Yes.
what if I'm on this chat, but I don't want to lose this chat. I want to start another chat for this session. So again, you can just Control-C, Control-F to select a chat. So for example, I don't know why it's showing the ID here, but you can just type new chat and ask something. So hello there.
But it still will be in the context.
Yeah, so I can just Control-C, Control-F again, and I can just switch back to the loader chat. And the nice thing is it shows yellow when it's waiting for, something like the LLM is working. So you can see like stuff that is happening. Or you can just Control-C, let me remember, Control-C, Control-N. Yeah, you start your chat without the option to select. So there's so many things that you can do. I think there are many hidden gems. For example, you have options to accept auto calls. You have options to there's an interesting behavior, like you can add context, like I mentioned right here. So, or for like a relative, for example, I can go to another project, and just add some other place or something on my home director. So there's a lot of options. You can just backspace to remove it, or you can even add here, for example, check my make CLJ and do X. So those are the same thing. They are actually a little bit different, but I'm not deep dive about it because it's pretty complex how it works. But it will just use different LLM fields to send this context, so you can manage it better. And I think one feature that I really like from ECA, and I think it stands out on other tools, are the plan behavior. So Jacob helped me a lot to turn it. So you can just Control-C, Control-B to change the behavior.
Yeah, that's what mine was actually next question. Like I see I have a plan and I have agent, but I don't think I have a code reviewer behavior. Is that your
yeah, that's a custom behavior of mine. Like if we go to my configuration, we can see that I have like the behavior right here. So like I mentioned, we are just merging this with the defaults from Echo. So I just created this code reviewer on my configuration, and I'm saying that I should always use GPT-5i because it's pretty good for those things. And I just pointing to appropriate files. So if I go I just go to this. Actually, I just remove it, so it's not gonna work. But it was just a text.
Yes.
Kind of syntax, explain. So this is pretty nice to explain those things. For example, I know that some people use Echo with a Clojure code reviewer or like something specifying how it should behave with Clojure. So that this is a way to not use any MCP and like keep things concise.
I mean the built-in agent and plan, they also have like their own like agent description and files,
So
right?
it's like completely configurable on the Echo thing. So for example, we have like the properties agent behavior. It's just a Markdown file explaining the same that I showed to you. So
I'm just like for myself and people interested, if I want to create a new behavior, I will just like follow this pattern and like and you can probably like just ask it to like hey write me an agent data like for a new
but that's the way exactly. Like if you go to plan behavior, you see it's way more complicated and like detailed how it should behave. We actually it's pretty nice because we divide in 4 steps. So we have like actually it's 3 steps now, but we have like the understand. So we need to it's for understand the project. We have we say that the to LLM to explore, like try to find alternatives and understand, like the decision and do a decision what you should do, and then present the plan to the user. So this is like was really like tested a lot, so we can have like good LLM output. So this is something that when we want to do something really complex, I just change to plan behavior and ask, and then we can even make some tests here. For example, I'll just ask something silly. For example, let's add a dot string to query comments or this function. So of course this is pretty simple, and agent would manage to do this pretty quickly.
But it's in the planning mode, so it's not going to make changes, right?
Yeah, it's not going to make changes, especially because we disable the chains. Yeah, I think it was not clear, so it's asking me a lot of bits of more context, but it's good for like complex stuff, like you want to do a whole feature, or I don't know, you want to do a considerably huge factor or something like that. So I use it when I know it's not something easy and the agent can just mess things up and just write things well, So we can see that quickly understand the prompt. It explore like what should do, had a decision, and then it presented the plan. It didn't like do the chains, but it's asking me, so yes. So we can see like it will just call the preview file change tool that is from Echo. So this is a really nice thing to like understand the change that's gonna do. So this is a custom UI. So some tools they have the file detail. So you can see like the file, the changes. You can actually view the diff, and you have a lot of options in Emacs for the diff. You have like you can use smerge in diff. So you can just set, for example, for a diff to change. So if I just click view diff, I can just
this is nice.
Yeah, it's really useful.
Very nice.
Or you can just expand it and just see the changes on the chat. Click to go to the file and understand what things are gonna work, and then you can just change it to the agent behavior and say do it, and then understand that should implement the plan. Yeah,
this is nice. I like the diff thing. I mean, this is like so. Until now, like I said, I've been using it just for a few days, and I've been like just let it do things, and then I will explore the diff in like in Magit or Magit, and
like there's so many workflows when working with AI. Some people just create brands because they are afraid, and that makes sense to like what the AI is gonna do. But from my experience, I was like that at the start, but then I realized that I can really tune the configurations that I want to do. For example, by default, ECA is not, it will always ask to you when it needs to do a change. So you can just accept it or remember or even configure it. For example, you can just configure the two calls. What is it here? For example, you can say, oh, by default, you should always allow, which is a little bit dangerous. I will not recommend you to do this. Or you can just say, oh, for this MCP, you can allow, or those tools specifically. So it's pretty, after you did this job, you don't really need to like rely on Git or something like that, you know. And you can always review the changes. For example, right here, we are just seeing the changes and we can just approve it. So
Nice.
yeah.
Beautiful, very beautiful. I love this. This is a lot of work. It's an amazing work, and was surprised how like it didn't take you a long time. It's seemingly like, you know, maybe I'm not seeing what I can see, but I think you learned a lot from maintaining LSP mode and making Clojure LSP.
Yeah, I would say I started on the end of June, and 1 month I got the heavy stuff working, and then from there, like from July, actually like middle August probably, we added like more features and more behaviors and more customizations and a lot of stuff. But I think it took me like 1 month and a half to like make the basic idea work. You know?
Very cool. So let's see. What are the most challenging like things that right now that you want to add or you would...
Yeah. I have I have a whole roadmap of the data in the GitHub project. So anyone interested can just go there and see what's being prioritized and so on. And we have like things for ECA, for Emacs, for VS Code, IntelliJ, and so on. And the most challenging ones that we have so far, like we did a lot of complex stuff already, but I would say like the next big stuff will be sub agents.
Oh,
So sub agents is something that I'm talking with Jacob. He helps me a lot with ECA, and you can see from this diagram that it's pretty complex.
wow.
We have like so many things to consider, but the funny thing is, it's not gonna be like so many changes for ECA, especially because the way it's designed, because the behaviors and the shots being all like self-contained, they will help like having the sub agents feature, you know. But it will be pretty much the biggest next challenge. I would say there's so many other things like something that I'm really struggling is making completion working nice. So completion is like something that until recently it was pretty much only GitHub Copilot that did it is really good, and the model was like really specific for the tool, so it was not easy to use. And they updated it recently, and it's hard to like make clear. It's funny because for shots and everything else, the LM can get context pretty easy, but it's really hard to say you should only complete this specific part of the code, or don't add like anything else, or extra parentheses and stuff like that. So this is what I'm struggling right now. But I think with the recent models of OpenAI, especially, this improved a lot. So I think it's something that is just to be improved naturally, you know.
Interesting. I've never used any AI completions so far. I don't know why. I just never seen like the reason. But I'm a kind of slow learner. I pick up like things after they kind of get settled and people tell me about them. Tell me, I saw the ECA web view. This is something you mentioned earlier. This is
Actually, yeah, the ECA web view is already like working and done. And was a really nice way to make IntelliJ and VS Code share the same code. So what you're seeing on those both screens are the ECA web view. So they are both written. The ECA web view is written in React. So we're just showing a React app here, and you can see that besides the theme, they just look exactly the same, you know. So this helped so much to like avoiding duplicating client code. And I I wish Emacs supports something like that.
I confused it with the desktop.
This is another idea, like having a way to access ECA from the desktop or from the web. But yeah.
So you're gonna use this web view, I suppose, for
Yeah, exactly. Like that, it's done. Like we can actually already create a browser web page or something that just use the web view. Probably some few small tweaks, and it will just work.
You're gonna write it in Flutter.
Yeah, I don't know. I didn't think about it yet, but
In Clojure there.
this was something that I just realized that if I want to support more editors in the future, probably more editors will have support for web views. So it's pretty easy to plug them. You just need to care about like the process integration and like communication with the editors. So I would say that it's pretty shaped well to fit those things.
Nice. Any other things but you'd like to share?
Yeah, I think I can quickly share like the rollback feature I mentioned, so we will understand how it works. We don't need to understand, but at least it's something that I'm still working. So for example, we have like the change, right? So we have like this change, and I just want to roll back to, for example, besides the plan. So this message right here, I want to roll back the chat, so I can just type, it should just prompt it for me. I can confirm, and it didn't work because I'm using a developer thing.
It's okay. I mean, like it's a new thing.
Yeah, I'm using actually the developer one, but I just use the nightly one, and we can try again. Okay, so I just restart ECA. So I'll say, for example, create any file with 10 lines. Oops. Let me write again. So, it just got to a bad state because I stopped in between.
So for the rollback, I suppose there's already you can bind it to a key, right?
Not really, because it depends.
It needs to know where you're rolling.
Exactly. Maybe we can just
roll back I mean, like it's probably trivial to implement something. Roll back the last thing, right?
Yeah. So for example, we create a file. So if I can go to we can see like we have like this example file. And then I can just say, okay, add 10 more lines to each. So we have like this.
Oh, you're saying so if you roll back it would roll back the entire creation of the file.
Yeah.
Oh, it will delete the file. That is pretty off. That is sick.
Yeah, I actually changed the model. The Nubank one is having some issues. I just start again. So let's try again. Okay, so it's creating with a lot of fruits, which is funny. What is the name? Sample data. Okay, add 10 more. So so we have like 20 fruits. And then I can just roll back and say, just roll back the chat before this message. And then now we have only the 10 fruits.
Nice.
Where I can, and now what I'm actually fixing right now is like way to keep rollbacking things. But yeah, it's already working, like keeping track of the changes, especially with edits or like new files and things like that. It's actually so extensible that we can make it work for even other MCP tools, which is something that no other AI has. Right. And I think one last thing is like the next big other feature that I want to implement is like something for Emacs. That is this one. This is like a programmatic way to request ECA directly for release. So imagine you want to create your own functions to do like requests to the LLM. So this is something that I want to support, especially for release, because people can create so complex stuff. For example, a function in Emacs that will just prompt it 3 different things sequentially and then do something. So this is pretty heavy.
Yeah, that is very SSF Emacs. Yeah, this is great. I appreciate this. yeah, I'm so glad that we did this. I mean, like, this is absolutely fascinating project, and I love it.
I think the Clojure community is helping a lot with that, so I'm pretty grateful too, and appreciate the help of everyone that's helping with issues or even with classes and thinking on how to solve the problems. This is really awesome.
Yeah. And here we are. Okay, we just passed the hour. We're very on the mark, and this is great. Thank you, Eric. We've been with Eric Dallo, and yeah, support his work because he's doing like some amazing. He's making some amazing stuff.
Yeah.
Thank you, Eric, again.
Thank you very much, Iggy.
All right, I'm stopping recording.